The first time Dad told y'all you were moving, like, what do you remember from him telling y'all that?
Well, the first time he said we're moving, 'cause we moved a few times. I remember us in the living room in our Virginia house, and actually they delivered two
Oh my
big
gosh,
things
yeah.
of news that day.
So you're technically there.
You were technically there. So they were like, Dad told a story from the Bible, kind of segued into actually, we're going to be like them, we're going to move. And then Mom was like, I'm pregnant. It was a lot of
Krista threw
excitement.
her body over the couch.
Yeah, it was a lot of excitement. I thought I was going to have to take care of 4 kids
She thought she was
at
a
the age
single
of
mom of
13.
Also, why did you think that you ever had to take care of two?
Because that's the oldest, you think these things. So
I was coming home from piano practice, and Dad was like, okay, when we get home, I have to tell you something. And then I was like, what, Mom's pregnant? And he was like, well, and something else. And I was like,
not and
what?
something else.
Yeah, and then we sat down.
I didn't, that was
Yeah,
Friday.
so, and then Chris is talking about...
I was like,
What are you talking about? Yeah, that was crazy. You just started crying and
slamming it.
No way.
yeah, she was really mad.
I want to hang out.
She was mad. And then Dad said that we're moving to Nashville. At that point, everybody's crying, and you're like, but I don't want to move to Nazareth. And everybody laughed because that is the break that we needed.
So
Like, literally, we were in so much pain, and thank God Cara said that because we could laugh to also keep on crying. But
So then what do y'all remember when y'all moved to Nashville? Or when we were in Nashville, we moved to Nashville, I was born, Dad became the
and you
first.
were the best thing that ever happened to us.
Dad
And also the scariest because you thought you were a daredevil.
Oh yeah, I remember at Bethel, Sean. I don't know if you remember this. You used to, as soon as you zip out of Sunday school, you got on the front, on stage, and the pews were really like, they were not close. It was maybe like 30 feet. And you would jump from the pew to the first pew, from the stage to the first pew, and just thinking you can soar.
Well,
Yeah,
thought he was
like
Dad.
literally with your arms out like
Sean
this.
thought he
I
was
remember
Dash
being like,
from
oh
the Incredibles.
And yeah, you thought you were Dash. You thought you were also Superman, I guess. Like,
Trying to do a cape, but
I
you
was
always be like,
invincible.
Right, you were definitely invincible. And I would say, stop, okay, zoom. Like, you would just be
I feel like one time I remember you just like flying through the air. I was like,
slow motion.
what the heck?
Well then so yes, I was a bit crazy when I was young when we moved to Nashville, but when we moved to Nashville and we got settled there, you guys met some of your, I guess, closest friends now, and we have a lot of spiritual family there.
Yeah.
What do y'all remember when Dad said we're moving to Orlando from there? Because for me, it was very mild. Obviously, I was young, so I don't remember too much, but I just remember, like, being like, okay, like, whatever. Like, I was just like, it was mild for me.
I remember not feeling as emotional about moving from Nashville to Orlando, but I also was like annoyed because moving from Virginia to Nashville, I did not want to be there, and I hated Nashville for probably majority of the time that I was there. And then I was finally getting used to it. Like, oh, okay, it's not too bad. I found my friends, whatever. And I'm in 10th grade, so it's the middle of high school. That's like, oh yeah, and we're moving to Orlando. Like, what? No, we're not. So I proposed to live with my best friend at the time and her family. My junior and senior year, I was like, I'll come and visit. I'll write letters. I'll write
You don't even barely like it here.
Yeah. And my mom was like, I'm confused because
said, "I'm not
the
doing
whole
this
time you hated it. And I was like, well, now I like it. So now what? And she's like, you're getting in the car. So yeah, I
you're
finished
going
my
to
high school there.
I don't remember like an actual sit down because I was a sophomore at Syracuse, so it really didn't affect me. But I do feel like moving to Orlando was just like added on to what the Lord is doing. Like He just added on more family. Because when we moved from, affected me the most is from Virginia to Nashville, I felt like I was gonna be losing something, but He gave me so much more than what I had to start with. So Orlando was like just adding on. And so I wasn't actually here, but I definitely would hear phone calls, definitely was praying and prayed as a family a lot. So I saw a lot of firsthand the growing pains of like starting a church. And so I definitely like commend anyone starting a church. Obviously my parents they were doing a lot. Like I remember Dad like breaking down chairs, putting on a suit, going to preach, and all the same car.
Literally would be like a greeter. Then the next thing you know, you see me in O Kids. They're like, "What didn't you just?" Yeah, don't worry about it. I'm in O Kids now, and then gonna go to what was it? Cafe O. Take my hat off. Go to Cafe O. Like we were just doing
Actually,
everything.
Carl, can you do announcements today? Got it, boss.
Absolutely. Can you also help break this down and set this back up, and then do it all over again two more times? Like,
Yeah,
That was
that
what-
would
yeah,
be
that was
sweating
amazing.
like he was in training camp, literally
Literally.
coming off the stage in a full suit, taking off his jacket, being drenched in sweat, breaking down the tables, putting
was-
them up.
it
Like,
was literally being there every Saturday night. Like our Saturday nights were gone
yeah.
we had to set up for like O Kids and being a greeter and all that the day before.
I think it's the craziest part about moving from Nashville to Orlando too is that we had nothing. We had no house. We had no school for us to go to. We had no church building. And Dad was still like, yeah, we're going. And I'm like, to what? We
Where
have
are
nothing.
we going to?
And then we found the chapel at like Highland
Yeah.
and in the back. I think everybody knows this. It was Expect a Miracle.
Right.
And well,
That's
man,
exactly
we've seen a
what
lot.
we did.
Yeah.
That's
we had
exactly
to-
what we did.
Being able to like come home from Christmas break and seeing like from the prayers that we had at
You
the
saw the
beginning
progress
stages.
a lot.
I did, and seeing like the fruit of all of that and like all the seeds sown, like definitely didn't return void because
At all.
just like the people that helped start the church, just like were in that harvest field and they just like supported mom and dad and just like loved in our family. Like I would come home and be like, "Hey, you must be so and so. Like you must be Chris." I'm like, "I don't know you, but like I love the vibe here. Everybody's
I love the
so
vibe here.
awesome and welcoming, and like God was just doing big things. So it was nice to see that from kind of like the outside looking in.
And to see the church now and how much it's grown and how protocols changed. I had to do membership twice, but
Yeah, I was wondering that. I was like,
I was a part of the inaugural membership
Right.
class,
Last
and
time
I had
I
to come
checked.
back and do it again. But that's another
I
conversation.
thought I was a member when I moved here.
No,
Does that
but
count?
Right.
it's really cool to see how much it's grown, and also the people that started. Like, I think I go by how long the church has been alive, I guess, with like Rebecca. Rebecca
Oh my
was
gosh.
a baby.
I literally was
Pushing
looking
her around,
at
and
Now
I was
she's so grown
up
and she's
no,
playing
she's
on the
on the
worship
stage
team.
playing.
Yeah.
Every Sunday, y'all know that I really don't cry at like, I'm not moved by movies or just in anything. I just cry on my own terms. But, you know, watching something,
awesome
I don't really cry. But every time I see her on stage, I'm like, but you were a baby.
Yeah. If you want to know
Right.
how
She was
old
like
the church
Caitlin.
is, ask Rebecca.
Ask Rebecca. She's literally as old as
Yeah.
the church.
Yeah.
She's as old as
Or
the
even
knows
see like Jose when he first started coming, and now he's like an elder of the church and
Yeah.
has brought so many people here. Just how it's been a ripple effect,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
word of mouth and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
It's also cool to see the things that have like come out of the church. Like you were talking about it earlier, like Dad walking the state of Florida.
Oh, yeah.
And like
Oh yeah, that's a whole nother.
he got up,
Right.
like all the things that our church was able to do out in the state of Florida. Like really cool
Well,
to see.
that's why I tell people all the time when Dad sat us down that it always comes back to a sit down. And
Every
when Dad
time
sat us
it's
down,
like-
I was like, "Where are we moving to now?" And he's like, "No, it's not a move." I'm
But
like, prove me wrong, baby.
But-
Well,
But,
what's the
right.
latest one, Carl?
But
What's
when
the
he said
latest
it,
one?
Rikers.
I'm going to
I was
Rikers.
like, oh
What?
gosh, are you gonna move to like Saudi Arabia?
Right.
Are you actually going to Nazareth?
But honestly, that's why I think from the first time that Dad sat us down and we did not handle it well, chairs thrown and slamming doors and all of that, to when Dad said that he was going to Rikers, it was like way more receptive and like, man, how can we support you? And getting all of our resources together just shows how we've grown as a family. And just to see all the amazing things that him and mom have done just by being obedient, from becoming the first Black pastor in Nashville at Bethel to walking the state to doing He Got Up with just like little to no resources. There's so many other things. Rikers is like, oh, there's nothing.
Yeah.
Everyone, I went up there and everyone was like, your dad is crazy. Like, I can't believe he wants to be up there. I was like, oh, that's what? That's actually, this is the best thing.
And also, I think it's really cool how we're all like voluntarily here in the ministry. Like,
Yeah.
we were like distraught when we found out that we had to go to Nashville, but now we're like all serving and like a part of the church because we want to be. And it's really fun doing ministry with you guys.
That was very churchy.
Very
Enjoy being-